You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? Episode 9 claims evil does not exist. We're not sure how it got that title, but this wasn't horror. It was Japanese subtitled about a community not wanting literal crap in their water. What would Amber and Scott do when staring down a fecal catastrophe upstream? Come find out. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
You find yourself in the unique position.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
What would you do?
How do you want to handle this?
What would you do? Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
So, our movie this week is Evil Does Not Exist, and all I have to say is it does in the form of that movie.
See, I have a slightly different opinion. So I'm not going to say it's a bad movie because that means that I have a feeling towards the movie. I learned a long time ago that the opposite of love is not hate, it is apathy. And I have an infinite amount of apathy for this movie.
Yeah. So, Evil Does Not Exist. It sounds like a horror movie, but it is not. Our description for this film: Takumi and his daughter live in Misubiki Village, close to Tokyo. One day, the village inhabitants become aware of a plan to build a glamping site near Takumi's house, offering city residents a comfortable escape to return to nature. So the premise sounds interesting. The trailer sounded interesting. It scored high on Rotten Tomatoes, but oh my gosh, it took 30 freaking minutes to actually get to the movie starting. It was that slow.
It was painful.
It was.
I would have rather seen Pure Darkness, the movie, because then at least it would have been easier to sleep. Okay, so we're not a movie review podcast. I have to remember that because, oh boy, I'm just going to say definitely don't waste your money in the movie. Maybe if you're really bored one day, catch it later. But there was despite all of that, since we are what would you do?
So let's make sure that everyone understands the premise. So this villagers are basically called to a meeting to discuss a new development of a glamping site in their small little village. And a glamping site is glamorous camping where people from the city go out into the nature and they trounce around and have fun in a way that is not even remotely the trauma, the work, the dirt, the effort of actual camping. It is glamorous camping. It is easy and fun, and you just go out and trounce around in nature and have really good meals, probably prepared by world-class chefs, and then you go back to your city.
Yeah, I think we know a lot about you and your camping experiences by the fact that you said that there's none of the trauma.
I did realize that I said that. I guess trauma is not a word that other people would use for camping.
I think it's a fair word to use in general.
Some people enjoy camping, and probably those who enjoy camping might think the idea of glamping is a little ridiculous. So our what would you do, of course, looks at either if you were one of the villagers and one of these glamping sites were to become to your quiet, peaceful little village, or perhaps if you were one of the two people who were working on this project trying to force a glamping site into a sleepy little town that treasured their water. So go ahead.
So once again, I always remind people that we are full of spoilers. And on this case, you know what? That's fine. Let me ruin it for you. Trust me, you're missing nothing. In my opinion, at least. So basically
and it's subtitled, just heads up for anyone who sees it.
There's two massive issues they have. One about whether or not there's going to be enough supervision during this thing
at the glamping site.
The glamping site to actually keep people from setting things on fire and going nuts. And the other one is...
Well, but not setting things on fire. Having campfires that then drunken people don't attend to, and then it spreads, and then it turns the whole village into a flaming ruin.
Yeah, and also whether or not they want the shit to go downstream.
Yes, because
quite literally,
the septic tank has been placed in a non-desirable location, which will require the seepage of 5 human beings' waste every day going down a river that the villagers actually greatly regard and actually go to the stream to collect water to cook with and drink with, and even the restaurants use the water. So their water is a treasured asset, and everyone has a shared philosophy that you protect the waterway, and especially if you are up what is the upwater? You are upstream. Thank you. If you're upstream, because the people downstream have to suffer with your actions. So that sewer system and a septic tank being placed where it is would basically contaminate all the water for the village.
Yeah. So you've got, two sides. You've got the villagers that are like, yeah, 5 humans worth of waste a day
into the water system. That
90%. That's not cool. We're not okay with that. And then you have the people that came in to talk to them who at first were like, okay, this is whatever, we're listening to you. But then eventually like, hang on, these guys have a real point. And then they go back to their bosses. And the boss is like, we don't care if they have a point. We just want to make fucking money.
So if you were one of those 2 people who came to listen to the villagers' concerns and were all gung-ho for the project, and then you started to realize, oh, geez, we actually are creating a negative experience for the people who live here and damaging the natural surroundings that they not only use on a regular basis, but is the basis for life there and that they greatly treasure. What would you do if you were one of those people spearheading the project?
I mean, so clearly the people at the top are the scumbags. They don't care. They literally don't care who they hurt as long as they can make money, which
money.
I feel like it's slightly over glorified commercialism. I feel like they're even at the top, there generally is some form of a human element, where these guys just really made it seem like there was just absolutely none.
Well, there was the variable of subsidies that were in there that they had to act quickly to capitalize on these subsidies, and that was some of the reason for the go. Let's not compromise. So if you're the person that comes in then and you're like, go project, we love this, and then you hear all these concerns from the villagers, and then you start to be like, oh crap, we're a bunch of scumbags. They have a really good point here. What do you do? So your boss is saying, we don't care. We need to tap into this subsidy money and get this project done. What do you do?
I mean, I quit. I mean, assuming that I've not vetted this project well enough to not already realize this to this point, like at the point when you are literally going to be poisoning people's villages and
it's only 5 people's waste per day.
Yeah, and ruining their freaking lives. Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm just out. I like sleeping at night.
Yeah. It's I have to say I would be with you. I would definitely not have any of that, and I'd probably be rallying the villagers to protest and get some press, because that's where people live and they get water, and water is life. So when you realize you're the bad guy, and if you make a decision to continue to be the bad guy, I'd
be gone. I mean, that's it. I'd be out. And if I'm the villagers, I'm fighting this tooth and nail to whomever, whatever. I mean, it's a little interesting in a way in that this kind of almost bleeds back into like Pool Man that we saw.
Yes. Speaking up about
water supplies and
speaking out in government meetings to try to advocate for what you want in your community.
But yeah, if I'm the community, I may, by whatever means necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting and sad to see that play out, because, well, first of all, when you're not dealing with a decision maker, as many of those policy meetings are, they're a formality. You need to check the boxes that you met with the affected people, and the folks aren't necessarily super interested in what you want to hear, because anything that you have to raise as a problem is not a problem they want to hear about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was sad, because, I mean, who knows how much momentum that they were going to have behind this project to get it done. I mean, this movie was so light on details when it came to stuff like that. Like, we just don't even...
We'd love to tell you who won and who lost, but there was a deer that was shot and a girl who took off her hat, and there was a guy who was choked out, and we left the theater confused, as did the people in front of us, who I also asked, can you help me understand this ending? So unfortunately, we can't tell you if a glamping site went up, or if the water was contaminated, or if the people won, because we don't know.
Yeah, if I'm the villagers, I'm fighting tooth and nail. If I'm the middlemen, I am the hell out of that project.
But my inner activist isn't just going to walk away. My inner activist is going to use the intel that I have gleaned while being on the job to help the villagers get that glamping site project shut down.
Yeah, I mean...
Also, too, let's just focus on glamping. What would you do if given the opportunity to glamp? Would you embrace glamping? I can tell you I would glamp over camp, because camp, obviously, you picked up on what I dropped about the trauma of camping.
Yeah, I mean, glamping is... I haven't been glamping.
I mean, if you could tell someone you're going glamping and have a straight face, I think that's a skill. I don't know if I could tell someone, hey, I can't meet you for lunch this weekend because I'm going glamping without having to explain it or laugh or...
Yeah, hopefully you don't actually say you're going glamping. You say you're going camping, and you just leave out the fact that most of the camping aspects aren't there.
But you know what? I mean, it's an okay idea. Like, you get to enjoy nature, but you're not sleeping in dirt and eating crappy food cooked over a fire. You're eating meals cooked by Michelin trained chef, and you're sleeping in sheets and bedding with a high thread count. So I'm not opposed to the idea. It's just the word glamping.
Yeah, there are some words that probably just shouldn't exist at all, and that might be one of them. Well,
so yes, evil does not exist. Yeah, that happened.
I really wish it hadn't. Guys, seriously, like, listen, this thing was 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that means there are some critics that liked it. It was too early to have an audience score on it yet. Oh, dear God. I mean, maybe the people in front of us who we talked to did mention that they thought this could be a cultural situation where maybe as Americans, there were like parts of this that we just weren't going to get or weren't going to understand. And that's entirely possible. But I'd like to note that I'm American, and this is two Americans doing a podcast. So from the American point of view, save your freaking time and go watch something else.
And protect the water supply.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.